But we're so good at moving, right? We're so good at moving around the world. We're so good at being able to travel, because wherever we are, we take on, we maintain our identity as Jews, but we also become very proud of that place, as long as they're not trying to kill us and keep us away from learning Torah and outlawing the bris milah or anything like that. That's what Shalom. We usually were like, thanks for not trying to kill us. Like, we love this place, you know? And you see that Jews in America love America for the most part, right? Historically, we've been big contributors, very patriotic, love the place. Same thing with Jews who ended up in Canada and Toronto, Montreal. Same thing with Jews who ended up in Australia. Same thing with Jews who ended up in South Africa. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to Live with the Times. Grateful to be here. Grateful for all of you. My name is Maynard Breslow, and another day, another Aliyah. And not only another Aliyah, but we're starting a new book, Sefer Shemot. We finished Sefer Bereshit, obviously, last week, and now we get into Shemot. This is Parashat Shemot, and right now we're going with the first Aliyah. Now, there's a lot to be said about the Book of Shemot, obviously, and how it corresponds to this Parsha and the themes. Don't want to get into that today. God willing, I'll be sharing that in another Aliyah that more corresponds to that. But today, right, we are going to get into how did the Jews even get in this position, right? We know that the Jews became enslaved. And we knew, obviously, that it was going to happen. Right? Avraham Avinu was told this, and they had a tradition brought all the way down. So it wasn't a surprise, per se. You hope that it's not going to happen, but you don't know how it's going to happen either. And now looking back, we don't know, we have to kind of examine how this whole thing went about and what that means to us. So that's what we're going to get into today. Before we get into that, make sure to share, like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments any thoughts that you have on this Aliyah, anything that I may have missed, or any thoughts on what I share. So an odd thing in this week's Parsha is what? It's that it starts off talking about Eile Shemot Bnei Yisrael v'Havim Mitzrayma et Yaakov Ish Ubeito Ba'u. That these are the names, and Shemot, like I said, we'll talk about that more later on, of the sons of Israel, Bnei Israel, who came to Israel with Yaakov, each coming to his household. Talks about the people, but then it gets into something, right? It says, Vayamet Yosef v'chol echav v'chol hador hahu. Yosef passed away, and all of his brothers and all that generation. Okay, that's interesting. And then it says, Uvnei Yisrael peru v'yishretzu v'yirbu v'yatzmu b'mod meod v'timalei haaretz otam. And the Israelites in Israel, right? They're fertile, prolific, multiplied, increased very greatly, so the land was filled with them. But then what happens? Vayakam melech hadash al Mitzrayim asher lo yada et Yosef. A new king arose over Egypt who did not know Yosef. And Rashi says on this, right? He says that, some say, now there arose a new king. It says, some say that it was really a new king, right? So it was a brand new person who came in. And another opinion is that it was the same king, but he made new edicts. It's from Sota. And you wonder, what do you mean? How is it possible that a person doesn't know Yosef? The whole world knew about Yosef. Yosef saved the whole world. He saved Mitzrayim. He's who elevated Mitzrayim. He foresaw what was going to happen, right? And he came through and was able to set aside the time of plenty, and then so when the time of famine happened, they were ready for it. He had vision. And then it goes on to say, and he said to his people, look, the Israelite people are much too numerous for us. Let's deal with them with chachma, translated as like shrewdly, skillfully, right? just in case they increased so much that in a war they go and they're going to fight with our enemies against us. Right? V'nachlam banu ve'alam min ha'aretz. And they're going to rise against us from the ground. Now it's funny, we go and we look, how did this whole thing happen? It's telling us right here. And, it seems like the Torah has a tinfoil hat over here. It's talking about conspiracies. There was a conspiracy against the Jews, right? That the people were sitting there and they're like, oh, look at these Jews. Like they came in here and there's a whole lot of them. I mean, we brought in the family, but like, look at them now. There's a whole bunch. And they're really taking over. It's putting a big stress on the economy. But not only are they putting a stress on the economy, but they're taking up with the whole economy. They're so rich. Look at the Jews. There must be some reason why they're becoming so rich and this and that. And a person at that time could have looked and said, hey, guys, I think I don't think it's like too good for us here. Like, what are you talking about, dude? I mean, I don't know. Like, there's like a rise of anti-Semitism. Like, they've been vandalizing the shops, and people are saying that we're the reason why the economy is not as good, but they're also saying that we're the reason why that we make all the money, and I think they're planning like something not so good. People would be like, dude, Shlomi, you're crazy, dude. Come on. What are you, conspiracy theorists? What's wrong with you? Like, Yosef, he was the viceroy. He's the reason why Mitzrayim is even in the position that they are. You think, what do you think they're going to do? Come on. You think that they'd be able to do anything like that even with us without us knowing? You're crazy. Right? And then what happens? So I mentioned, how did the people even get into it that they was able to be enslaved? Right? Like, just one day, they like, okay, that's it. You come with us. Right? It says, Vayasimu alav sarei misim lema'an antoi vesiblotam vayiven arei. They set over them taskmasters over them to oppose them with forced labor, and they built great and enforced cities for Paro, Pitom, and Ramses. All right, so they came and they had forced labor. They enslaved them. How did that come about? The Midrash says that Paro, he called, he got on there on the news. Whatever your favorite news one is, they're probably lying to you, but let's say it came from your favorite news source. And Paro's on there, and he's saying, everybody, the economy is not doing so good. We're going to need everybody's help. We gotta come together right now. Everybody's got to come together and contribute. We need everybody. Nobody can be left out. We need everybody's help. And you know who's going to be there? I'm going to be there working on the front lines. And so that's what happened. Everybody, they came out and they all started working for the government to help rebuild the economy. And who was there on that first day was Paro. And he was on there, and it's a photo op, and they're saying, wow, look, Paro's digging. This is serious. And everybody's there contributing. And the next day, Paro wasn't there. But then they brought people in to help guide the people and tell them what to do. And the next day, the nobles weren't there. But then they brought in some taskmasters to make sure that people were on schedule. And then all of a sudden, the Egyptians weren't there. And all that was left there were the Jews. The Jews were there, and they were now all of a sudden were enslaved. And you see, the Jews always show up, right? The Jews, we were made to be able to travel, right? We knew that they would be in exile. We knew they would be taken away from our land. So Hashem gave us the Torah. He gave us songs. He gave us community. He gave us language. He gave us our names. But you see, this. We'll see later that this helped bring us out of Mitzrayim. Just even keeping our names and Shemot as well. But we're so good at moving. Right? We're so good at moving around the world. We're so good at being able to travel, because wherever we are, we maintain our identity as Jews. But we also become very proud of that place, as long as they're not trying to kill us and keep us away from learning Torah and outlawing the bris milah or anything like that. Shalom. We usually were like, thanks for not trying to kill us. Like, we love this place, And you see that Jews in America love America for the most part, right? Historically, we've been big contributors, very patriotic, love the place. Same thing with Jews who ended up in Canada and Toronto, Montreal. Same thing with Jews who ended up in Australia. Same thing with Jews who ended up in South Africa. Right? Jews everywhere. Right? I grew up I've spent a few years in Mexico. Mexican Jews, very proud to be Mexican. Right? Very proud to be Mexican. Very grateful to be Mexican. They just came and they weren't, outlawing what they were doing, and they're grateful to be there. And sometimes, they ask us to do something, and we're like on the front lines, like, yeah, come on, let's go support. Jews are always ready to go and help. And almost to our detriment, where we become so enmeshed with this culture, and we start to love the culture, and we start off being, Jews who live in America, and then we're being Jewish American, and then we're being American Jews, and then we're just American, chas v'shalom. And the same thing everywhere, right? I'm from the Valley, I'm from LA. And got a lot of South Africans there. I love South Africans. I hang out with South Africans. But you know who they definitely love hanging out with? Other South Africans. Australians love other Australians. Not that they don't hang out with other Jews, but you know the culture. You've come there with the culture. And almost so much that it's hard for you to leave. And when you do leave, you start hanging out with only those people. Right? Now, what does this mean to us? A few, over 10 years ago, way over 10 years ago now, I guess. Not over, way over. Somewhere like 2014, something like this. Remember, Shalom Arush was in LA, and Rav Laser Brody was translating for him at the time. I went to go see him. He was in Beverly Hills. And he wasn't talking about his shul. The shul that he was there. He's like, listen, I'm not talking about this shul. There's another shul. But there's a guy by another shul we went and we spoke to. And, he said, and it's a common thing. It wasn't just have I heard it one time. He's giving this over during his shiur that we all went to go see. And he says, so grateful to have you. What an honor it is to have the Rav Shalom Arush. His books are changing people's lives, and to have you and anything you need. So excited for the shiur. I just have one favor, one thing. We have one rule here. So, yeah, okay, sure. What is it? Listen, we love all the talks and all the lessons. They're really, really good. Just do one thing. Don't talk about Aliyah. Don't talk about, moving to Israel. The people, we like it here in Beverly Hills. The people are going to start shutting you off. And they're not interested in that, so they're going to start tuning out and talking. And it's happened before. You lose control of the room very quick. People start walking out, whatever. It's not for them. So if you keep it away from that, I guarantee you have people are very interested. They love Torah, and they're going to have a great Torah. He says, but what, we're not allowed to talk about making Aliyah? No, people like it here. And the same thing, the thing is that why was the death of Yosef mentioned twice? It's mentioned the end of Bereshit, and it's mentioned at the beginning here. It's not mentioned for Yaakov. It's not mentioned for the brothers. It's mentioned for Yosef. Why Yosef? Because specifically Yosef was a big issue. In the sense that at the end of Bereshit, it ends on a low note with, everybody, Yosef passed away, but listen, we're in Goshen, we're good, everything's fine, we're there, everything's set up, we're taking Yaakov into Eretz Yisrael, and we are, things are good for the Jews. And the same event happened here at the beginning. Well, it's not a different death of Yosef. But here on this one, Yosef passes, and secretly there's a conspiracy against the Jews. And they're getting ready to be enslaved, and they become enslaved. The first one was from a Jewish point of view. This one's from the Egypt point of view. And a lot of times, we think things are going great, and they're not going so great. Right? The Jews have a very high pain tolerance, Baruch Hashem. Right? We're able to take a lot of pressure and move on and get stronger and get better. And so we don't always notice. We're not so good at looking out and realizing when it's time to actually get out. The people could have seen that things were going wrong when Yosef passed away, and there's some signs there. But they didn't. They stayed. And because of that, they're enslaved. And the same thing here with us, right? We historically have never been in any place. Hashem didn't promise us Eretz America. He didn't promise us Eretz Mexico, Eretz Canada, Eretz anywhere, Eretz Australia. You see what's going on in Australia. You see what's going on Los Angeles. You see what's going on in America. And you still got people, it's like the meme with the dog and the burning house. It's like, this is fine. It's fine. Everything's great. It's not great. Maybe this is fear-mongering, right? Maybe this is, calling you out. Maybe this is, fire and brimstone. I don't know what. Every single person watching this right now is either the descendant of someone who got out before the curtain closed, before they locked the doors, or the descendant of somebody who, after the doors were locked, survived. Right? There's Holocaust survivors. And I've heard many stories of Holocaust survivors that were like, the writing was on the wall. We really should have listened. We really should have listened. We really should have left right before. Right? And there's a lot of people, my family, right, they left in 1913, Kiev. And where'd they go? They went first to New York, Texas, but they ended up in Mexico. And but they left in 1913. Probably a good time to go. Right, Yosef, what happened with him? Why was he able to help help Mitzrayim? Because he had foresight. He had vision. He could see things happening before they happened. And he was able to make moves before they needed to. The fact of the matter is, there is no warning to the Jews that say, hey, everybody, if you want to leave, you better leave now because in 2 weeks we're going to enslave you. Right? And there's not going to be a warning this time either when the doors close and there's no more flights to Israel, Chas v'Shalom. I mean, this is crazy. It's conspiracy. What are you talking about? We're Jews. We survive. We've been through a lot. If we think that that's the last time, that's never going to happen again, I think we're being naive. I think we're deluding ourselves. Easy for me to say. I'm sitting here in Eretz Yisrael. Right, but it's been 8 years now. And I left because of that exact reason. And even before I knew about Eretz Yisrael, before I was even religious, 16 years old, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, 20 and some change. Along with my birthday coming up. But 16, I'm like sitting there with my friends. I'm like, dude, what's going on over here? Like, there's no way I'm raising my kids in this country. What do you mean, Maynard? What are you talking about? Look at us. We're like walking the fence. What do you think our kids are going to be like? Look at the education. The education is going down. And at that time, California would have been, if I remember, would have been the third biggest GDP in the world if they were seceded from the United States because they had such a great economy. It's not like that anymore. The culture's changed a lot. Things have changed a lot. And yet we still hold on. We still think, oh, yeah, it's going to be great, everything. It's better to get out a year too early than a year too late. And a day too early than a year too late. They're not going to give anybody warning and say, hey, it's time to make Aliyah. Get yourself together. 3-year countdown, or 2-year countdown, or 1-year countdown, or 6-month countdown, or whatever it is. We're children of survivors. We're children of people who had foresight. And we have to have foresight. We have to leave before that time comes. And, okay, cool. I'm coming here from Eretz Yisrael. What about us? First and foremost, anybody here listen from Eretz Yisrael? Kol hakavod. Shkoyach. Right? But we still have our own Mitzrayim. We still have to help our brothers and sisters. Right? But we also have our own inner Mitzrayim that we become enslaved little by little. That no one comes out and says, okay, you're gonna gain 20 pounds in the next year. Oh, le'at. Right? Oh, listen, I can eat a little bit more. We're at this party. It's a simcha. It's a bar mitzvah. I'm going to eat a little bit more. It's a simcha. It's mamish a mitzvah. Then you have some, I have some leftovers. I might as well, I'm going to have it. Little by little, we become enslaved to that thing. Didn't happen overnight. The weight didn't gain overnight. We just notice it until it's too late. And it's like that with anything. Ask any addict. They thought that the alcohol was good for them. It was helping them. They thought the drugs were helping them. They thought the images were helping them. They thought the phone was helping them. Whatever it is, it happened and it came upon them. Too late that they realized. They're already enslaved. So it's on a mental level, spiritual level, physical level as well. So Hashem should please help us to help each other, to have vision, to wake each other up, that we should really mamish see the writing on the wall before the doors close, and anything, whether it be with where we live or whether it be internally with us. And this way, we're going to continue to survive. We're going to continue to put our children in the best case possible, the best scenario possible for them to be able to be successful. And it's so funny because people, they say, oh, Parnasa, all we've been doing our whole life has been moving. Our entire existence, we've been moving. And everywhere we've been, why do they kick us out? Because we made too much money. Oh, Eretz Israel is different. What's different? We're confident we can make money in the world, except for Eretz Israel. I'm coming to you right here from the looking at a camera, lights across the world. You can't make money over there. I have a buddy who came from Calabasas. He's been living here for 20 years. His clients don't even know that he lives in Eretz Israel. He's making more money here than he ever made over there. So it's just a matter, right? We're never not be successful, Baruch Hashem. So Hashem should bless us to please get out, to please be in the place that Hashem wants us to be, to please be able to be successful everywhere we are, and to see that our children are thriving and happy and healthy for ourselves and from all of Klal Yisrael, all of Bnei Yisrael, and ultimately the entire world, that we should all be united, reunited, all of us here, coming Moshiach, the third base on Mikdash. Grateful for all of you, L'chaim.